Hello, good morning, sixth graders. Welcome to our technology class week 4. Woohoo! So let's see. I'm just gonna just go back because since we're in week 4, and I have been receiving stuff from some of you guys, but then there's some of you where I haven't been receiving things. So I figured let me just go back really quick and just review as far as technology goes what you should have been doing up until this point. Okay, so in week 1 of technology class, you were supposed to join our 6th grade Google Classroom. Okay, so the way that you do that is you click on the link here in the website. So this is our weekly to do, our 6th grade weekly to do. You click on the link, you press sign in, and then you're going to have to sign in with your Google account. After you do that, you click I am a student, join a class, and you put in this class code. And then it will allow you to join our class. Now this is very easy. I just give you 100 if you join the class. But obviously if you don't join the class, then you get a 0. So it just seems very silly not to do this. And you also are going to need this because, for example, our lesson today, we are going to be continuing with our lessons in the Applied Digital Skills curriculum. And so you need to be able to go in there and be able to access the lesson. Okay, so please make sure you do that. In our week 2 technology, we had our first lesson. It was create a study schedule to meet your goals. Okay, and so you were supposed to go into the class, and then you were opening up a new Google, I believe it was Google Sheets, and then you were creating a study schedule, so you were following along with what they asked you to do. There were some things that you needed to do, adding in different columns and rows, and then you were supposed to share it with me. And then last week for our week 3, we started with our second step lesson 1. And I sent you guys some questions that you needed to type the answers up to. And we also started with our typing. So you had a typing assessment inside of your typing account that you needed to complete. Okay, so that's where we are as far as weeks 1, 2, and 3. And now for week 4, we're going to be continuing with our lessons in the Applied Digital Skills. And actually, hang on one second. Let me just add. Okay, so we're going to be doing a new lesson inside of our Google Applied Digital Skills curriculum. We're going to learn how to evaluate the credibility of sources. So this is important because as you're in middle school now and you'll be getting into high school, you're going to be doing a lot of research, right? Your teacher might say, okay, I need you to find some articles on a certain topic, and I need you to, write a report on it. And we need to be able to look at different sources and say, does this look like a credible source, something that I can trust, something that's telling me the truth? And so we're going to take a look at that today as part of our lesson. And the other thing that you guys will be needing to do this week is to complete inside of your typing account. We're going to be doing the skill builder. So I'll show you. If you go in your typing account, if you go into assignments, last week you had your typing assessment. This week is skill builder. So it looks like only 30% of you completed the typing assessment. Please get that done. You do get 100 for completing it. So again, it's a super easy assignment. And then for the skill builder, you just click into it and then complete that. And if you're done with it, then you also will get 100 for that. So please make sure that you get that done this week. Okay, so I'm going to move into our applied digital skills. So again, when you sign into the Google Classroom, you're going to see this in your lesson. It's going to say, evaluate credibility of online sources, okay? And so I'm going to show the videos as part of this video, but again, if you need to go back or something, it's good that you have access to the classroom. All right, so let me put on this first video and let's see what this is all about, okay?
The internet is an amazing resource for knowledge. Information about human history and culture, art and science, the latest business news, and anything else you can imagine is only a click away. It's easy for anyone to create content on the internet. from blogs to magazine articles to news videos and more. But not all the information you find on the internet is true and unbiased. You don't always know who created the content, or why, or if it's credible. Credible content is believable and trustworthy. Each time you use the internet, it's important to evaluate sources for credibility so you won't be misled by false information. You might find something on a website that is not credible even though it pretends to be. It's also important to think about the credibility of a source before you share it with someone else so you don't spread false or misleading information. For example, if a friend asks for your help with research for a school paper and you send them a link to an untrustworthy article or video, the credibility of their project is at risk. Remember to pause before you share information with others and double-check the credibility of your sources. In every type of content you see and read online, there are clues about credibility. There are 5 key W questions you can ask yourself when investigating any new topic or evaluating the credibility of an article. Who wrote the article? What is the author's point of view? When was the article written? Where does the author get their information? And why did the author write this? In this lesson, you will use the 5 W's to evaluate the credibility of an online article. To organize your answers to these questions, you will use a table. This lesson uses Google Docs, but you could complete it in any word processing application or with a pencil and paper. As you complete this project, you will search online for an article, add the article to a document, create a table in your document, ask key questions to evaluate the source of the article, and decide if the source is credible. To work on this lesson, sign into your Google account, open a new tab in your browser, and navigate to google.com. If you are not signed in, do so now. Then, open Google Drive and create a new blank document. Give it a title. Then, move on to the next video to search online for an article to add to your document. Now it's your turn. Sign into your Google account, open a new document, and name your document.
Okay, so hopefully everybody knows how to do this. So when you're inside of your Google Drive, you're going into new Google Doc. So you're going to open up a new Google Doc, and then you're going to give it a title here. So maybe you want to call it Credibility of Online Sources by, and put your name. And then that way you have a good title. And then you can also put your heading here. So you always want to put your heading on your work so that way I can know that it's you, right? So credibility of online sources. And now we know, okay, beautiful. They have their whole, they have their title here, they have their heading, and now we can move on and see what we need to do. Okay, so I'm gonna move on and let's pay attention.
In this video, you will search online for an article and add it to your document. Copying and pasting the article into your document will make it easier to read and evaluate. To begin, open a new browser tab. Go to google.com and search for a topic of your choice or a topic that your teacher assigns. Your topic can be about current events, history, science, your favorite book or movie, or something else. Explore a few of the search results and select a short article. Next, copy the article from the website and paste it into your document. Your article may have images and formatting. To make it easier to read in your document, paste without formatting. If the article is long, just copy the first few paragraphs. If you like, change the font size or style to make the text easier to read. If you like, change the font size or style of the title to make it stand out. To quickly return to the original article, insert a link to the website in your document. A link is a clickable portion of text that takes the reader to another location. Select and copy the web address. Then return to your document and insert the link in the article's title. Then, move on to the next video to create a table to help you evaluate the credibility of the article. Now it's your turn. Search for an article online, copy and paste the article into your document, and add a link to the article.
Okay, so let's go into the internet. So again, you're gonna go to Google, and then it's just google.com. You can choose any topic you want. So, I don't want to be restricting here. I would just make sure it's an appropriate topic. Like for example, I'm gonna just choose something about, I'm gonna just type in masks, because obviously masks for COVID-19, or maybe actually I'm gonna make my question, are masks effective for COVID-19? And then as soon as I type that in, if you start going down, you're going to notice I'm getting a lot of different articles. Coronavirus face masks, types, when to use, which masks are most effective and why. Do face masks really reduce coronavirus spread? Which type of face mask is effective? I'm getting so many different articles here, right? So I can just choose any of the articles. So I'm going to choose this one here. And then I'm going to copy and paste the article. It might be a little bit tricky for you because obviously we don't want all the pictures, so I'll show you how to do it. So if you just highlight and drag up, you can actually delete anything that you don't want. So I'm gonna just copy the whole thing here into my Google Doc, but you're gonna probably notice it might look a little bit crazy. Hang on, or maybe not. Okay, you can click on anything that you don't want. So for example, this box, we should be able to delete it. Yeah, you could delete, if anything comes on that you don't want in your document, just kind of highlight and delete it, okay? Okay, so now, okay. So now I'm just trying to make it look a little bit neater. Alrighty, so now here we go. I don't really need this picture here. I also don't need all of this. So again, I'm just putting my article into the doc, and then what am I doing? I'm going to link the source here. So if I highlight this and I right click and I go to link, what I can do is I can go back to my article here. Whoops, I gotta move my little thing. And I can highlight it, copy, and then I can go in and I can paste it and then apply. And now what's going to happen is when somebody is reading this, so for example, say you were doing research with this and you wanted to share the article that you used for your research, if I click on it, I'll be able to go right here and look what it does. It brings me to the web page of the article that I used. So then the person can go and see it for themselves. Oh, okay, this is on the Live Science website. It looks like it's from June 2nd, 2020. And they can actually see that I didn't just make this up, right? And this is something I really want you guys to learn this, because I see this a lot Because now I've been having the eighth graders do some of projects where I'm asking them to find an article. But the thing about it is I want you guys to get used to knowing how to cite a source. You know, you need to be able to give the full source. If it's a website, you should be able to link it in here. You know, your teacher should be able to go to the direct source where you got something. You can't just say, oh, yeah, I read this article and blah, blah, blah. This is what it said. You need to actually have a link to the source because that makes what you wrote credible, right? Because anybody could write anything and say that, yeah, oh, yeah, they did all this research. But if they don't actually give the sources that they use to get their research, then, you know, people are going to be doubting in their mind, how do I really know this is accurate or true? You know, where did this person get their information from? And when you get into college, and I know high school as well, this is going to be a part of every project, research that you do. Your teacher is going to say, I need to have a works cited page or a bibliography. It's called different things. And there are different ways of formatting in college. Usually it's the APA format. But again, you need to be familiar with the fact in the back of your mind that you can't just write something and then just claim that, you know, oh yeah, that's what it is without giving any sources. Okay. So this is good. You put the article here and then you linked the source where you got it from. Okay. Alrighty, so let me go to the next part, and then we're going to be making a table where we're going to be answering the five W's. Okay, but let's go there first, and then let's watch this.
In this video, you will create a table in your document to help you evaluate the credibility of your article. Sometimes it's obvious that a website is trying to get you to do something, like click on a link, buy a product, or share your personal information. But most of the time, it's not so easy to determine if a source is credible or not. Sometimes online content can seem credible. It can have an impressive layout or look professional, but it may have been written by someone who doesn't know much about the topic. Or the author could be biased. Bias is an unfair preference for some ideas or opinions over others. Asking the 5W questions. Who wrote the article? What is the author's point of view? When was the article written? Where does the author get their information? And why did the author write this? Will help you make a thorough evaluation of the credibility of your article. To make it easier to answer these questions and evaluate your article, create a table in your document. Make a table with 5 rows and 2 columns. In the next videos, you will answer the 5W questions for the article. In the left column of the table, type the questions, who wrote the article? What is the author's point of view? When was the article written? Where does the author's source get its information? And why did the author write this? Leave the right-hand column blank for now. You will complete it in the following videos. Move on to the next video to begin evaluating the credibility of your article. Now it's your turn. Create a table with 2 columns and 5 rows. And in the left column of the table, type the 5W questions.
Okay, so let's go and do
In this video,
part.
you will create a table.
She's going on again. Okay, so let's see. So we're gonna so it says up here that we need a table with 2 columns and 5 rows. So hopefully everybody knows how to do this. So if you go to the end of your article here, so you can kind of probably need to get to a new page. So now we're on a new page. So we're gonna do insert a table with, would you say 2 rows and 5 columns, okay? So there we go. Now if we go back to here, you'll see these are our questions here. So it says in the left column of the table, type the 5W questions. So you can just copy and paste them. So we're gonna have in here, who wrote the article, and then we're going back to What is the author's point of view? And then we have, when was the article written? Okay. And then we have, where does the author get their information? And then the last question is, why did the author write this? So then you're going to put that in. Okay. So these are going to be our questions that we're going to now answer. Okay. So here, I'll put on the next little video and then we can follow along.
In this video, you will read through your article and make notes about who wrote it and what the author's point of view is. Evaluating the author's trustworthiness and point of view helps you determine their overall credibility. An author's point of view is their attitude towards what they are writing about. To begin, ask who wrote the article and if the author is a trustworthy source of information. To do this, perform an internet search to find out about the author. Try to find out more about who they are, other articles they have written, or where they work. If the author does not show up in an internet search, it could be a warning sign that the author is made up and not credible. If the author's personal or professional history indicates some type of bias, it might affect the credibility of the article. If you can't find the author of your article, look at the website it appears on, or evaluate the organization that published it. Type any information about who wrote the article in the Who row of your table. Next, think about what the author's attitude is towards their subject. What is their point of view? Does the author present accurate facts in an unbiased way? Or does the author seem to be taking sides on the topic? If the author is strongly for or against an issue, their bias could affect the credibility of the article. Type your observations about what the author says in the What row of your table. Then move on to the next video to consider when, where, and why the article was written. Now it's your turn. Perform an internet search to find out more about the author of your article. Examine what they say about the topic, and add notes to the who and what rows of your table.
Okay, so here we go. So now, if I go back to my article that I just found, I'm going to look and see who is the author of this, Stephanie Pappas. So I'm going to just do a search on Google and see who is this person, right? So this would be something you guys would need to do. Who is she? Stephanie Pappas is a contributing writer for Live Science. She covers the world of human and animal behavior, as well as paleontology and other science. Articles by Stephanie Pappas. So it looks like she has written other articles. So we're like, okay, so we know that she does write for a science journal. It looks like she studied science. She interned as a science writer. So I like how they also brought up the idea of bias, right? So whenever you look at an article and you see who's writing it and you kind of do a little bit of research about who they are and their background, it can help you to identify whether or not, you know, the person might have some bias about something, right? So when we think about Stephanie, it seems like, you know, if anything, she's going to lean more towards looking at masks from the scientific, you know, point of view. She's going to say, well, purely by looking at the science of it, and she's going to give, you know, whatever that says. And so this is good for you guys, because whatever topic you chose and whatever article you chose, when you go and research the author, it's going to help you to really look at the article and say to yourself, well, who's writing this, right? And why would they be writing this? You know, is there any gain that they get out of this, or is it just purely them reporting on something, right? Is it just them giving a fact of something that they've learned, or does it have more of an opinion on attached to it? So these are really, really good things for you guys, especially nowadays with our news that comes out. It can be very tricky for people to look at a news story and to figure out what parts of the news story are actually truth versus just somebody, just kind of saying what they want to say about it. So I really would love you guys to take that away from this. So what you're going to do now is you're going to fill in the answers to this question. So for our thing, we know it's Stephanie Pappas. She is a science writer. Looks like she writes multiple articles in different science journals and websites. Okay, so we know that her background is science. What is the author's point of view? So again, we would have to go back and read the article. Is she saying that masks definitely work? They don't work? So you have to fill that in. When was it written? So again, I believe it was this article was June 2020. Where does the author get their information? So I would have to go and look in here and see, is she giving us, so it looks like she's the co-director of WHO, Collaborating Center for Infectious Disease. She quotes something that they talked about. Another study, it looks like she's mentioning studies, a study in the Journal of Nature Medicine. So she does have some different sources that she uses in her article, which I think that's kind of showing us, okay, look, she's not just giving us her opinion. She has different studies and she's sharing where she got this information from. So I would probably mention that in this part of the table. And then why did she write this? So again, I would have to go and try to figure out, is she writing this as an informational article for people to read and take away from? Is she writing it because she wants people to believe the same thing that she believes? You have to really just think about the why of why are people writing the things that they're writing. Okay. All right. So let's see what the next part asks you to do. Go to the next. Oops. Next.
In this video, you will read through your article and make notes about when it was written, where the author got their information.
Okay, so I believe we just talked about that. So you know what you're going to be doing. You're going to go through each of the questions. And then let's see.
In this video, you will look back through the notes you took about your article and decide whether or not it is credible. There may not be a clear answer to the question of credibility. Look at all the evidence and decide what answer makes the most sense. To begin, add a new row to your table. In the last row, type, "Is the article credible?" To determine the overall credibility of your article, look at your table and review your observations about who, what, when, where, and why. Think about the most trustworthy parts and least trustworthy parts of the article. Given all your observations, do you think the article you chose is credible? Type your decision in the last row of your table. Then, write a sentence or two about how you came to your decision.
Okay,
Then,
so
move on to the next video to wrap up the lesson.
okay, so let's go back to our chart, and then we're going to add. So if you hit the tab button, it will add a new one, and then you could add your question. Is this article credible? And then I would like you to share your thoughts on it. After you went through all and you answered all these questions, do you believe that, and I want to get you the definition. So if you guys, just because it might help you understand this better. Credible. I'm going to just go right into the dictionary. Offering reasonable grounds for being believed, of sufficient capability to be effective, meaning that we can believe it. So is it credible? Can we believe this article when we look at it? Can we say, yes, this is a credible source of information that I can use in my research project? Okay, so very easy. I hope that you can enjoy this and learn from it. So again, you're going to do a Google search, any article that you find on your topic, copy and paste it into the doc, add the link to the article, and then make your table at the bottom here, and then put in your questions, find the answers to each of the questions. After you do that, your last question is this article credible? And then you're going to, or actually, I guess I should say, is this source credible? And then you're going to answer the question. After you're done with that, you'll hit the share button and you will share this with eastpca@gmail.com. That's my email. Okay, guys? All right, so everything is in here. And then if you need help with this or anything, please let me know. So your assignment is to complete this, share it with me, and then also don't forget about your typing for this week. And if any of you are missing anything, then obviously you will need to get that done as well. Okay? All right, guys, we shall see you soon. Bye, guys.